there, welcome back to Pantry. I'm Alicia if you're new here, and today I am making some apple ketchup. It's an experimental canning recipe, experimental to me, and I'm doing this as part of the collaboration March Canning Madness that is put on by Constance over at Cosmopolitan Cornbread. I'll link her channel below. If you are interested in more canning videos, I not only have my own canning playlist, but you can search the hashtag March Canning Madness, and you'll come up with videos from this year, other years, things like that, all with videos with canning in the month of March. And there are giveaways associated with this, so you might be interested in watching those. I will link her channel and her video talking about giveaways down below. Today I'm making apple ketchup. This is a new to me recipe. I got this recipe from 4 Jars, which is a popular canning supply company. They make lids and canners and things like that. And they have an ebook with canning recipes. And I just want to put out right out front that they are, 4 Jars is not, the recipes aren't necessarily tested. I wouldn't necessarily call them rebel recipes. There's a difference between unsafe and untested recipes, but this recipe is not tested. However, I'm pretty comfortable with it. It is a water bath canning recipe for apple ketchup, and I normally make applesauce with water bath canning, and it doesn't have a lot, and this has vinegar added to it, so it should be acidic enough, but just wanted to put that out there in the interest of transparency and to let you know so you can make your own decisions based on your own research. But this recipe starts with a dozen tart apples. I'm using Granny Smith. This is a recipe I had flagged for myself to try last fall, and I just ran out of time in fall because it's apple season. And so these are not homegrown or from my local apple house. I got these at Aldi. Granny Smith, a dozen. They need to be peeled, cored, and quartered. I'm chopping mine to 8s. I just find that easier to handle with my hands instead of quarters. It doesn't really matter because the first step of this is pretty much making an applesauce, so it doesn't matter. I will say, when I first saw the title of this recipe, the apple ketchup, I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I kind of thought it would be your regular tomato-based ketchup. You know, ketchup is like tomatoes, vinegar, some sugar, and spices, right? And I thought this would be your tomato-based ketchup with some apple added to it, like a little apple flavoring. It is not. This is a recipe that makes ketchup with the vinegar and sugar and spices, but it completely replaces the tomatoes with apples. And so I thought that was intriguing too. I thought I'd try it. It's supposed to be good on sandwiches and cold cuts and meat and stuff like that. It's a savory sauce is how it's described. And I heard one person say they liked it on pork chops. So use it how you will. I have not tried it yet, so we'll see if I like it. But I'm getting all of these into my pot here, and then I'm going to get it on the stove with a little bit of water just to get it going and let it start to cook down so that the apples get soft and we can make pretty much an applesauce out of it before we do the next steps. Okay, my apples are all cut. I need to cover them with water and get them on the stove. I will take this out to the chickens. I have enough apple scrap vinegar for now. I don't need to make more of that. Okay, this needs to go until a lot of the water has evaporated and the apples are soft. It says about 30 minutes, but I feel like it's going to be more than that until the water's evaporated. But once the apples are soft enough, if the water's not evaporated, I'll just pour some of the water out, and then it's time to make the sauce with them. Meanwhile, I'm going to get some of the other ingredients ready. So I need sugar, pepper, cloves, mustard, onions, white vinegar, cinnamon, salt, and horseradish, fresh horseradish. This is going to be a little bit spicy. It'll be fun. I'm just going to use black pepper. I don't buy white pepper. It's fine. Cloves. Okay, these are really soft, and I will bring you in closer to see how I know they're ready. You press them up against the side of the pot with my spoon here, and they just kind of smash into place. The options given in the recipe are to rub them through a sieve, which I don't really want to do that, or put them in a food mill. I don't like my food mill. I don't feel like it's really very effective, so I'm just going to actually drain these in a colander and use my stick blender to blend them up. And then we put it back in with the other ingredients. I have the vinegar and all the other stuff, the sugar and spices and whatever. I will link the digital book that I'm using from 4 Jars with the recipe below. It's not an affiliate link, it's a fairly inexpensive one with a lot of recipes in it. So I'm gonna get these drained and then back in here. It smells amazing in here, by the way. Okay, this is mostly smooth. I'm not gonna worry about getting all these smooth because it is gonna cook again with all the other stuff. We get this rinsed off. Okay, so the 2 cups of vinegar and then all of the spices. And by the way, I put in, the recipe calls for half a cup of the fresh horseradish, the grated horseradish. I put in about a 1/4 cup. Half a cup seems like a lot to me. It's already going to be spicy. It's got pepper, and a 1/4 cup to me is a lot of spice. I'm a whim. So that is something that you can adjust safely in a recipe, is the spice level. Okay, this gets brought up to a boil. Directions say bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to low and let it simmer for an hour. So while that's going on, I'm going to go make lunch. Before I got lunch going, I got the jars that I was going to use into my water bath canner and hot water in there, and I got it on the stove with the lid on so it could start boiling and getting those jars sterilized. That way they would be ready to go once the ketchup was ready. I do also always add a little bit of vinegar to the water in my canner just so that it doesn't get the white film from the hard water that we have. Okay, this has been splattering everywhere. It is very, very, very thick now. I still have half an hour, 25 minutes left of my hour timer, but I'm going to go ahead and stop it because I can't imagine it getting any thicker, and if it's going to start burning. I've come over and I've stirred it a few times, but it would just become a sugary, I mean, that's like a ketchup thickness. Anyway, so I'm going to try to, I'm just going to get my, just get blitzed up, get some of those onion chunks kind of put together. My canner is up to a boil, so I can get those jars out. I just think if it got any thicker, it wouldn't be a good thing. Trying to aim for, and it is splattered everywhere. It got on me, it's gotten all over like the floor and the stove, and I just wiped off the microwave here. What a mess. Okay, take this way. So I'm going to clean this up a bit. I did have a nice lunch while I was waiting for this. Took the dog out on a loop. Still need to take the chickens their little snacks. Let me get my, got my funnel. I have my debubbler and measurer and my favorite jar grabber because it's way easier for me to use than the ones that comes with the kits. You know the one I'm talking about that have like little round things that are always popping off. This is a good sturdy one, easy to use for my hands. Get this here. And let's see here. My jars are now sterilized. They've been boiling along in here enough. So the recipe says that it makes 2 pints. Careful so I don't get water down my sleeve. So I put in 3 jars just in case. I always get an extra jar ready because things can just change amounts even if you do the same recipe. Sometimes it just comes out a different amount. And I have also learned that with recipes I haven't tried before, sometimes I don't know what they're thinking when they say they're certain amount. So I just like to have an extra jar ready and sterilized and ready to go. So this says a 1/2 inch headspace. And it also says to process for process for 15 minutes. I will do 20 minutes because I am slightly above 1,000 feet. So I have to add 5 minutes to the time. Yeah, see, I felt like this was a lot for 2 pints, and I bet I could do 4 pints with it. So I would say this is why I always do an extra one. I should have done another. I will just put one in the fridge because I don't want to wait another 10 minutes for it to sterilize in the canner. Let's see. It's a bit too high, and that one's too low. That one's just about right. Okay, so 1/2 inch is the second. These have measurements on them, and when you get this tool with your canning, this is for the debubbling, which you want to do first. Just making sure there's no air pockets. Okay, and then my 1/2 inch, I'm slightly under. Perfect on that one, perfect on that one. One more spoonful in here. Yeah, I would say this recipe made 4 pints. Now, if I would have boiled it another 30 minutes, maybe it would have gone down, but I don't know about that. All right, let me get my lids and vinegar. You don't have to boil lids anymore, but I like to sit them in hot water. Definitely wipe the rims because these will be sticky. So what you really want to wipe is the top where the lid will go on and seal because you don't want junk getting away with your seal, but I like to go down, like kind of pinch it over the side so that I don't have sticky things making the ring stick to it or stuff that's kind of left out in the air part. So I kind of go over the top and sides there. All right. And you don't have to boil lids anymore, but I stick them in hot water. So I'm doing 3 pints. There is definitely a 4th pint in here. I think even if I boiled it half an hour longer, it would have been at least 3 pints. These are hot jars, hot food, hot water in the canner. Okay. And I put the vinegar in the water because it helps it not get the white film. I have very hard water where I am. Keep them upright and gently lower. Lid back on, and once it comes up to a boil, I will start my timer for 20 minutes. Recipe says 15. Meanwhile, I'll be cleaning the sticky stuff off the floor from where this boiled over. My timer just went off for my 20 minutes. I turn off the heat and take the lid off, and I let it settle for 5 minutes before I take the jars out. But while those are cooling or settling, I put some of this little leftover stuff into the fridge so that we could try it and see what it tastes like. So let's go over and make like a little mini sandwich with it. So I have that and some bread, and it said cold meats. So I'm gonna get, I think for apple, I'm gonna get turkey. I'll be right back. Okay. I already ate lunch. I'm not hungry, so I'm just gonna make a little half thing here. I'm very curious to know how spicy this is, since I cut the amount of horseradish down so much. I'm gonna use it like a condiment as far as, I'm just gonna spread it on the bread. It is a nice ketchup-y consistency, so I don't think it hurt it at all that I took it off the stove early. And apple is kind of a mild taste, so I wanted to lather it on there. All right, are we ready for this? That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. I probably could have put the rest of the horseradish. There is no spice to it at all. It is like a sweet and tangy sauce. It is really good. I think you could put this like if you want to make appetizers with a little like cracker and spread and a little piece of turkey or something. That would be good with it. I'm trying to think. This would be like I was thinking of ketchup uses like on a hot dog. You could totally put this on a hot dog. I think it would also be good using just part of it in another sauce, like a creamy sauce, like maybe a chicken pot pie sauce. Just swirl a couple tablespoons into it, maybe like a quarter cup, just to kind of add a little depth of flavor to the sauce. That is surprising. You know what it kind of tastes like? It kind of tastes like ketchup, anyways, and a little bit like mustard. Now, there is dry mustard in there. It's just got a little more sweet, fresh farm taste to it. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's totally different, yet similar enough to fit in places where you already use ketchup. I could even see myself dipping a fry in it. There's a timer. Let's go get the jars out. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on Plow and Pantry. Thank you for experimenting with me and coming along for the ride. Remember, you can search the hashtag March Canning Madness if you want to see more videos. Don't forget that down below I will link Cosmopolitan Cornbread where you can find out more about the giveaways. And I will also link my own playlist here for canning and food preservation. I have two separate playlists, one for canning, one for food preservation, but one of those will be linked here for you. Thank you for spending your precious moments with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed this.